In the box, there are enough components to build another object exactly like the one already assembled. Your task is to try to assemble an exact copy of this object, or as much of it as you can, in the time allowed. You will find, or actually in this box, you will find 6 plates. This is the plate. And a number of nuts. Well, put it down until I finish, and then you open it. And you will find a number of nuts, bolts, washers, and spacers. When you build your assembly, you must ensure 2 things. 1, the first plate should correctly positioned in relation to the base plate, and that the gap in the middle. Okay, these are the 2 things, the base plate and the hole in the middle. The gap around actually in the base plate. They should be equal space. Number 2, when positioning each plate, the large hole and the 4 edges should all line up exactly with the plate below. Are there any questions so far?
Not yet.
Okay, so please note the following. All the plates are different, and each has only one correct position. You may need to turn the plate over or around to find the correct position. It is essential that you get the first plate correctly fitted. You will have 15 minutes to complete as much of the assembly as you can. You are advised not to dismantle your work in the last few minutes of the test, because you may lose marks if you do. Now, are there any questions now?
So I need to put it like the exact same way the hole should be all aligned.
Yes, if you look through it, they are aligned.
Okay.
That's one important thing, yes.
Okay. So I can turn it around, flip it around. I can do anything
Yeah,
with
you
that.
can play with it. That's
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, please open the box.
Okay. And I can take.
And begin.
Okay.
And then I also write down the time when you begin. And I suggest to you, even if you are doing it 100 times, if you read it, there is less chance that you make a mistake, that you leave out something or you put some extra in it. Actually, at a certain point, I did make a mistake in my reading, and then I corrected it. So it's okay. I mean, it's better not to make a mistake, but you can make a mistake, and if you notice it, please simply correct it.
So when the candidate or before the candidate starts, all the nuts and bolts, are they supposed to be in the containers, or is the trainee supposed to arrange all the parts himself?
It's up to him whether he is going to organize it or not. Some people like to organize it. Oh, he did organize, actually. There are the nuts. There are there are the bolts here. There are the spacers, and here are the washers. So it is easier if you separate them and then try to make it. There will be an objective scoring at the end, but you can make also observations about the person's work method. I mean, some people are more organized, some people get nervous when they have to dismantle what they already did, and so on. The higher we come, the subject will have more and more difficulties. The real problem comes if and when the subject arrives to a point when he has to dismantle a certain part which was already built.
Oh.
You hear it. This is the problem. Unless he dismantles what he already built, he cannot go forward. Okay, I also try to emphasize that the first plate should be correct.
So let's say, for example, we got the first or the second layer wrong. All the succeeding layers, would they be graded or would they be marked 0 as well? Or how?
No, thank you very much. This is a very good question, and we will come back to it when we will do the scoring. I'm not going to tell him that we are only have 1 minute or 2 minutes. He's responsible for the time. Stop what you are doing. That is the end of the test. Please leave your name card by your work, and please excuse me that the time was so short. You did a good job. In a short time, we are going to tell you the result.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much. You must do the scoring always in connection with the scoring chart. Half of the points can be received from correctly placed plates, and half of the other points can be get from the nuts, bolts, and washers. For the scoring, you always put the bench so that the original one is on your left hand, and the one which Balint was building is on my right. Okay? And if you look at the surface of these plates, there are two kinds of signs. The first kind of signs are around and make an inner circle, and the other kind of signs are in the outer circle. And in the inner circle, if you look around, the signs are the same, because the inner circle sign indicate the plate. What is the sign in the inner circle all around, always, in all four sides?
Square.
Square, that's okay. Now look in the Mandex chart. It says that if the top square is in the correct place, then you have to see a square in the inner circle. Okay?
Mhm.
So that's it.
Okay. Now let's see that something is facing to you. What is facing to you in the outer circle?
Square.
Another square. That's right. If you look at the outer square signs, under the square there is a number 6, because this is correct. For the plate, you get a 6, because it's in the right level and it turns the right side to you. If the inner circle would be correct, but the outer circle would be incorrect, so all the other 7 instances, the subject would get a score of 3. If the inner circle is no good, which means the plate is not on the expected level, then the person doesn't get any point. Second plate from the top down. Triangle. Look in the Mandex score chart. The second level is triangle, so this is good. And what is the outer sign.
Plus sign.
Plus sign.
That's 6 again.
The outer sign is a plus sign. Then you get a 0.6, a perfect point. And you always write on the right-hand place the number. You enter the total score for the plates, and the maximum what you can get in here is 36. If a plate has been missed, but all the others are in correct sequence relative to each other, all the assembled plates can be scored. So imagine that somebody built a tower only from 5 plates. In this case, if they are in the right order, they can get a score for it. It is definitely 6 points less than the 36, but it can be normally scored. If some of the plates are in the wrong order, only score the plates that are in the correct sequence relative to each other. It's almost a theoretical thing because it almost never happens. For instance, for plate sequence is 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, then the 1, 2, 3 can be scored. The other 3, forget about them. Then comes some difficulties. It says 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 6. Then 1, 2 can be scored because they are in the right order. And 4, 5 can be scored because they are in the right order. Now, the other half is coming from the nuts, bolts, and wishers. And this is easy, actually. If they are in the right place and the right direction, the top can be here or there, but it is only correct if the top is here. Okay, I should show it in this. The nut is here, and the top of the bolt is on the top. It wouldn't get a point if it would be the other way around here. So everything, nuts, bolts, and washers, all of them get 1 point if they are at the right place and in the right direction. Now, in the case of the washers, they should be in the right size because there are 3 sizes of the washers. The big one, the big washer, should put in the wide bolt, and the small one should be put to the small one. It should be the right size at the right place. And if you are correct, then all the washers should be used. You can get another 36 points from the nuts, bolts, and the washers because there are 36 of them. We are using 2 kinds of standard, so-called standard scores. One is percentile. How many percentile is under this score in the norm group, and how many percentile is above this norm group. Okay? So this is the first possible transformation. The other possible transformation which the manual offers to you is to transfer the raw scores into t-scores. Do you use t-scores?
No.
We can just forget about it. Okay, just use percentiles.
Okay.
The t-score actually is a score where the middle of the distribution is 50 and the standard deviation of 10. But you don't need it, actually. Okay? You use the percentile. There are actually 5 norm tables in the manual. Like the first norm table on page 23, it says it is for applicant production operators or assemblers. Does it fit your people? So then you use that one. And another one says multi-skilled assembly operators. So there is a very low, a very high, average, and 3 in the middle. And what are your expectations? Very skilled people or low people or middle one?
Middle.
It is important if you want to compare later on subjects, you have to use the same norm group. Okay? So to choose a norm group is an important decision. Now, converting is very easy because in the middle there is the raw score, and on the left you get the percentile. Try not to accept people lower than the 30th percentile. There is a sheet where you can collect results. If you have enough results, you can send us this page and we can send you back a norm group special for you.
You have a detailed manual, but the manual is written for two tools. It's called Mandex and Findex, and you need to ignore everything which is about Findex because this is a different bench, but you need to use the Mandex part from the manual. The other technical tip is that when I need to score this one, what I do first, I would check the table whether he has used all of the parts which was on the table. That's a very good start. And if he has several parts what he hasn't used, then I need to be careful with the scoring because I need to point out where I can deduct the points of the maximum points which is possible. The other practical tip is that after I have checked the table, then I would lift up the bench and I would try to look through, you see, because there are holes in it. And if you can look it through exactly the same way, then it means that most likely the parts, the plates are on the right place. We need to read the instruction very slowly because they need to understand it at first. They are hearing it at first. Before they would start, they rarely have questions. So I really need to motivate them that please have your questions because when they start to work, I cannot answer any questions anymore. And we usually provide a very short feedback and we would just say to them that, you know, you were supposed to put together a towel and the maximum score was 72 and you achieved 65 and this is a pretty good result. So instead of
we don't have to explain percentile and everything.
And I wouldn't bring back the bench again and I wouldn't show the right solution and stuff like that. Instead of using the percentile to explain the result, we would use the grading system. So I would say this is an average result, this is a good result, an excellent result, or it's below average or stuff like that.